Hey everyone, it's Denise Brown, and this is a Soul Break. Typically, we gather live on the third Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. This month, I have a conflict, so I've pre-recorded our Soul Break for you, so you have access to it. And as always, I record anyway, just so the archive is available in case you can't join me live. We have a theme every month when we get together for our Soul Break. So today, I thought we would take a break from hardship. I would love to say that we don't have a hardship, but there's probably something or some things that are hard for you during the day or during a relationship or during a situation. So let's take a break from it. And we'll just pick one that feels hard for you. And pick the one that you think, oh, this really drains me. This exhausts me. This demoralizes me. That's a hardship. And in truth, we all deserve a break from it. And many of these hardships we live with, we endure, which is why we need to take a break from them. And taking a break from them might not change the reality. The hardships will exist when we go back after our break, and it does not matter. And taking a break from a hardship does not mean that you aren't being responsible, you're not taking care of it. You are. You're just giving yourself a chance to regain energy so that you are more equipped, have more power within the hardship. If we continue to power through these hardships without taking a break, the hardship is going to win, which is why we want to take a break so that we have more energy, more resilience, maybe a healthier perspective about the hardship. The break from hardships is really important, very important. And I often think about something that a Catholic priest told me during one of my hardships. And he said, God wants you to be happy. These hardships take so much from us. And it's important for us to take a break so that we can connect to something other than a hardship. And maybe happiness feels like a stretch. Maybe that feels too hard. And we can still take a break from the hardship to something better than a hardship. So think about one hardship that you are tired of enduring, that you're just like, oh, you'd love to toss it out the window. Close the door on it. That's what we're going to do for the next few minutes. So something is hard. And what I like to think about then is what's the opposite of that? What we're looking to do is give ourselves an easier time. And wow, if we don't deserve an easier time during a hardship, I'm not sure when we can convince ourselves to give ourselves an easier time. You have earned an easier time, even if the easier time is just for the few minutes when you take a break from the hardship. So what we're going to look at is, how can you give yourself an easier time? And if you joined me for previous soul breaks, you know that I ask a series of questions. I asked 3 questions. So here we go. Okay, so here's the first question. How can you adjust your expectation? I think sometimes our expectations are part of, a little piece of, a hardship. Sometimes I have an expectation around the hardship, like, why do I have to have this, right? Why is this my burden? Why is this my life right now? I expect something better, something different, and so I resist it. Now, that makes sense, right? No one is going to embrace a hardship. And there is no silver lining when you're in the midst of a hardship. And it kind of drives me nuts when people are like, well, what's the gift? There is no gift. There is no present in this hardship. And we can still think about our expectation and just adjust it. And sometimes it's just the expectation of what we can manage during a hardship. And what I love about this photo is that it's the sun coming up and a breakfast of something healthy that includes something beautiful for us to look at. So what if we had an expectation about just how the day starts? And maybe that my expectation for me today is that I'm going to give myself a few moments to eat something good and to look at something pretty. And that's what I expect of my day, a moment to eat something good and look at something pretty. Now, your expectation could be a little different than that or a lot different, but think through what's an expectation that could be realistic during your day, given that you're in the midst of a hardship that can feel like the day is easier for you. And when I look at this photo, I think that's an easier way to start the day. If we go right into the hardship when we wake up, right into working, managing, relating, organizing, resolving, solving, it doesn't give us a moment to have something that's easier. So the hardship will wait for us. I've never known a hardship to actually just not wait for me. It's always there, it's waiting for me. So why not wait? Let it wait a few minutes and give yourself an easier start to the day. And I think this photo is just such a nice reminder that there's an easier way to start the day. And the other thing I like about this photo is that there's nothing complicated about it. It's rinsing berries and having a pitcher of water, a pitcher of coffee. It's just, and something pretty. It's really just 3 elements. I do want to mention that during very particular hardships, the idea of washing fruit seemed too much for me. A bowl of cereal with milk was all I had the bandwidth to manage. And if that's the same for you, that's the right breakfast for you. And maybe it's just taking a few moments where you think, okay, this bowl of cereal feels good for me, and I'm just going to sit here and give myself 5 minutes to enjoy it. So we're adjusting our expectations about the hardship within our day by giving ourselves a few easier moments to begin the day, or during the day, or at the end of the day. It's up to you. But I thought this was such a nice way to think about the expectation of our day with the day dawning. And the expectation can be, I'm going to have a moment where something tastes good and something looks good. Okay, so here's my second question for you. How can you lighten your load? So I think about what we carry during a hardship, and it is worry, frustration, aggravation, hopelessness, powerlessness, really difficult emotions to carry. It weighs on us. So what's a way to lighten the load? And even though this is a basket with a load, it's a load of flowers. And we know that flowers weigh a little less than I think worries weigh. I think worries weigh a ton, flowers weigh a little less than a ton. So if I'm going to choose to carry something, I'd much rather choose to carry something that feels good. In order for me to do that, though, I have to lose something. So you could think about what's a worry you want to release? What's a problem you want to really work to resolve? Or what's a task that you want to delegate? And you might think there's no one to delegate to. And sometimes what I do is I delegate to a different day. So maybe you look at your to-do list today and you think, I can't carry all this. So you decide, you know what? I'm going to delegate it to a different day. And that's how you lighten your load for today. Now, we don't want to delegate everything to tomorrow because that gets too heavy for tomorrow or tomorrow. We don't want it to carry all our burdens, but we can be strategic about what we decide to delegate to a different day. We can also decide, you know what, I've been carrying what isn't mine to carry. And I'm going to leave that responsibility or or expectation or worry to someone else. It's their problem. It's not mine. So how can you lighten your load? What can you release today so it's a lighter load? Okay, so here's our next question. How can you create a healing moment? When we're in the midst of hardship, we are in the midst of pain and suffering. And even if it feels like, well, it's an emotional pain and suffering, our body aches too. And if it's a physical pain and suffering, our emotions hurt too. The pain can be throughout our body and our mind and our spirit. And we deserve a healing moment. So during a day that feels like hardship surrounds you, how can you take a moment for healing? We have a daily healing plan that you are welcome to use. We also have a daily recovery plan. Now I think of the healing plan around loss and the recovery plan around coming on the other end of a long day, a stressful situation, or a caregiving crisis. Either one could help you with your moment that is about giving to yourself, healing, receiving something that feels healing. It could be that you listen to music. It could be that you sit in nature. It could be that you take a little bit of a walk. It could be that you just sit outside in your backyard or on your front porch. You close your eyes and you dream. You envision something beautiful. You think of a vacation you'll take someday. You'll think of a vacation that you once took, that you look back and remember with such fond memories. It could be that you have a mantra that you remind yourself, that you say, I am okay in this moment. I am okay. Whatever feels like it brings you healing energy, spend moments in it. Could be one moment, it could be 5 moments, it could be 20 moments. Receive healing energy. It could be from a relationship. It could be from a TV show. I know that sometimes people are like, oh, we watch too much Netflix, we watch too much TV. There are some shows that bring us healing. Go for it. If it makes you feel healed, watch it, receive it. It could be that you sit with your journal or your Bible or your prayers, or you write a prayer for yourself. Heal and give yourself those healing moments. So today, how will you spend a healing moment? Okay, so those are the 3 questions to help us during a hardship. And there are 3 questions that you can ask every day, every week, whatever works for you. You could pick your favorite question. You don't have to use all 3. So the 3 questions I asked are, how can you adjust your expectations? How can you lighten your load? And how can you create a healing moment? When we meet in our soul breaks, we also create our belief statements about whatever it is that we're focusing on. So we can create a belief statement around how we can bring ease into our day. And it could be a belief statement that sounds like, I believe easier moments will make easier days. I believe a hardship is temporary, but ease in my day is permanent. Whatever it is that helps you with a perspective about this time in your life is a belief statement that you can use. You could create a belief statement about expectations, about the load you carry, and about your healing moment. So it could sound like, I believe I can adjust expectations every day, especially during a hardship, to give myself an easier day. I believe I can release a responsibility that isn't mine in order to lighten my load so that a hardship has some easier moments. I believe I can create a healing moment anywhere, anytime, whenever I need it. Those belief statements then become these reminders that you have some strategies that can work. I think sometimes during a hardship, it feels like we're trying everything and nothing is working, which is why it's a hardship. Oh, it's awful. And our belief statements can help us see that there are some strategies that we can use that can help. In addition, we can use one of our caregiving wheels, which is the belief wheel, to create a couple belief statements around our health as it relates to something that's easier for us. So I can give myself better health and a better day by taking a 10-minute walk to start my day. I believe my hardship gives me courage, which will make tomorrow an easier day. I believe every hardship needs a dream about an easier day. I believe that my family, including my chosen family, can ease my hardship with support. I believe I deserve time to play, especially during a time of hardship. So you might pick one word, and then create a belief statement about it. So what we've done is used 3 questions to prompt 3 strategies, and then we create a belief statement to remind us that we have these strategies in place. You might just use one question to create one strategy and then to create one belief statement. That's okay. The goal is that these guide you into a moment of ease, so you get a break from the hardship. Okay. And then I actually have one last question for you. So when I think about hardship, I think about the world looking gray to me. It's the absence of color during my hardship that can add to the heaviness of the hardship. And I love this photo because it's colorful, but what brings color isn't expensive or hard to access. So lemons and limes are easy to pick up in the grocery store and don't cost a lot of money. You could buy 1 lemon and 1 lime and put it on the table with some flowers you pick when you go for a walk, not necessarily from your neighbors, but somewhere where you see flowers growing. You think those are beautiful. I'm going to pick them because they're available for me to pick. And then you put them in a pitcher and you have color to look at. So my question to you is, how can you bring color into your day? Just a reminder that the world remains vibrant for us. When the hardship brings the grayness into our life, we can bring color back in to energize us, to comfort us, and to remind us that There's good in the world for us that we can access even during a time of hardship. So, how will you add color to your day? Now, we think about our warmer months like spring, summer, and fall as being more colorful, but the winter offers us colors as well. So, regardless of the time of the year, we can bring in color. So, think about winter decorations and sparkly lights and beautiful decorations that we hang up in our house and in our neighborhoods. You can bring that color into your home, and you can do it in such a way that it's not adding to your hardship, right? It's not more work for you, but it's just more comfort for you. I love this picture that reminds us that color is available and accessible for us every day. And we can pull from it to remind us that life remains colorful for us, even during a time of hardship. Okay, that's our soul break for today. I post our archives of our soul breaks on our YouTube channel and in our community, which is Caring Our Way. You can join us in caringourway.com to connect to our support, our events, our workshops, and our content. We'd love to connect with you. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Bye-bye.